Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside Now. This is our look at Mid-South Wrestling. We have looked at 1984. We're into 1985. Rodney, what's the dates on this?
April the 25th, 1985.
We actually started in January of 1984, and now we're in 1985. We have reviewed each week of Mid-South Wrestling. For those of you who have not seen it, you can go to YouTube. You can go to this YouTube where you're watching this right now, hit playlist and put Mid-South Wrestling. Look for Mid-South Wrestling playlist, and every one that we've done is on there. Sometimes we may have one or two we might have done 1 or 2 weeks at the same time. But Rodney, this show was a very interesting show. We'll let you run that down real quick, and then let's make some comments about what went on in the show.
All right, we opened up with Boyd Pierce and Bill Watts, and they recap what happened at the New Orleans at the Downtown Auditorium in the Ugandan, whichever you prefer, death match between the North American Heavyweight Champion Terry Taylor and Kamala. And in that match, Bill Watts was talking about how great Terry Taylor did in the match. However, it was Jim Duggan that stole the show as he comes in with a 2x4 as Kamala was heading to the top rope to splash Terry Taylor off the top rope. And after that, we had an interview with General Skandar Akbar. He's talking about Jim Duggan, that he has made a challenge or put a threat basically out on Terry Taylor and, of course, Jim Duggan. Match number 1 is the Mid-South Television Tournament continues as Tom Pritchard faced Jim Duggan. This was an odd match, I have to admit. Right in the middle of the match, Tom Pritchard just gets up and walks out, especially after Duggan tries for the 3-point stance. Pritchard then comes back in an interview and talks about now he's going to be using not only his body but his brains. He said, I've seen what Duggan does with that to spear, and so he left. I'm not sure if I like that, but anyway. Next match was the Ugandan Giant Kamala against Thor. It's Kamala winning with the splash in that one. And then we come up, Boyd Pierce, Bill Watts takes the opportunity out of the very busy broadcast time to talk about Vince McMahon in 2020 again. And then they have an interview with Butch Reed. Reed has his eye all messed up. I mean, he looked like he's been through it, had a battle or two. And, of course, he says this is a real athlete. This is what Bill Watts says, and not a Hollywood actor. Match number 3, the Barbarian Jake Roberts against Richard Dye and Paul Brown. People are already chanting DDT. It is inevitable that Jake had to be turned. They were basically going to have no choice in that. In the end, it's the Barbarian with a full Nelson. Jake coming in at the end with a DDT. When he hits that DDT, that crowd goes nuts. Then we're back with Bill Watts and Boyd Pierce. They recap a match from 1983 with King Kong Bundy and Steve Dr. Death Williams. Okay. Match shows Steve Williams putting the stampede on Bundy from the Sam Houston Coliseum. Kind of wonder why. I don't know. Match number 4, The Wrestler, who I do believe was Ted Allen.
It was.
Brickhouse versus Brickhouse Brown. Dutch Mantell is starting now to be at ringside during these matches. And, of course, again, Bill Watts is talking about all the celebrities, etc. Talking about celebrities and coaching and the celebrity coach that is handling with Brickhouse Brown. I'm not sure. He just talked about how bad celebrities were earlier, and now a celebrity coach is now giving tips to Brickhouse Brown. Not sure what I'm lost. I'm lost in all of that. In the end, it's Brickhouse Brown, rather.
Well, I flow like a butterfly, I sting like a bee. You can't hear what you can't see.
I understand. So then there's a second rope headbutt from Brickhouse Brown, and he beats the Wrestler. Match number 5, the Nightmare versus Terry Daniels with Eddie Gilbert. General Eddie Gilbert. You would think the general would have said, at least this private should have saluted me, but he didn't say that. Eddie Gilbert was at the desk doing the commentary during this match. In the end, it's the Nightmare winning with the pile driver. Match number 6 is Jack Victory versus Bill Dundee. Dundee. Again, Dutch Mantel back at ringside. Bill Dundee winning with the sleeper hold over Jack Victory. Match number 7, North American heavyweight champion Terry Taylor versus Edgar Thomas. Dutch Mantel again at ringside. And I love this build up. Of course, he talks about Watts is talking about upcoming matches with Ric Flair, the NWA champion. And in the end, it is Taylor winning match with the flying forearm fight, followed by the figure 4 in his preparation for going against Ric Flair. In the end, we have the video of Ted DiBiase with Joan Jett, Bad Reputation. Of course, he closes out the show with the Freebirds on the way back and should be there in 2 weeks. And that's the end of Mid-South Wrestling show number 294.
Okay. There's a lot to talk about here on this program. What was the point of the Terry Taylor Kamala match?
Well, he was wanting to prove, Bill, that now Terry Taylor has come into his own. Been able to
Well, if he
stand
came
up.
to his
against
own,
Terry
Jim
Taylor.
Duggan came out there and beat the people up.
No. It's because of his friends. Terry Taylor choosing his friends wisely. Of Jim Duggan in a 2x4.
Jack, what did you think about this? Did this help Terry Taylor at all?
I don't think it did.
No.
Did you?
It's like I've abused this guy for the last, year, and now I'm going to try to put him on the top, and I'm going to push him. And the only way I'm going to do that is by telling everybody how great he is, and then letting Jim Duggan go out and beat everybody up.
Did you hear Bill Watts call Dutch Mantel Dirty Dutch Savage?
I did.
Yes,
I did.
I love the Tom Pritchard interview, but that made no sense. Why you just get out of the ring and at a TV tournament, it just made the match just mean absolutely nothing. Made the TV title absolutely. Because was that a TV title match?
It was a TV championship tournament match for sure. Yeah.
Did you notice that Alfred Needley was back on this?
Yes.
Was his name Alfred Needley? Was that the referee?
Yes, I believe that's right.
Or was it Fred Neely? I'm not for sure.
I would assume that Carl was probably on vacation, or he was gone to, or he didn't get back from, because lots of times they would be in Oklahoma City or have other shows up in Oklahoma, and he wasn't back in time with the ring.
Well, the DDT is one over move.
Yes.
Them people went nuts when he hit that DDT on whoever that guy was. I can't remember who DDT'd, but
it was on Richard Dye, or let's see, it was Richard Dye, and I forgot the other guy's name at this point. Richard Dye and
I have to say
Paul Brown.
I have to say this about Bundy and Williams. Boy, them people did go nuts when Williams beat Bundy, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was incredible.
And I'm sure that the upcoming match with Bundy and Steve Williams will be equally as exciting.
Wasn't Bundy already in WWE at that time?
Yes.
Well, that's why they showed the match.
This is something that Lawler thought was brilliant too. Jarrett thought was brilliant, going through and showing all the people, these stars he had beaten over the years. And from our raising, the way that we were taught, you don't promote other people's stars on your show, regardless.
It just makes you want to see them.
It does. It does.
Randy Colley was so good as the Nightmare.
Yeah.
Man, he was so good. You go back and watch that stuff. Man, if you have not watched him as the Nightmare, he was good as that. He's the assassin. He was tremendous. The Moondog, he was just a tremendous wrestler.
Yeah. And
a tremendous person on top of that. Just a nice guy. Bill Dundee Jack Victory match, I enjoyed it. It was a great match, and Terry Taylor becomes Ric Flair during the show.
Yep,
this was the beginning. This was his beginnings of he thought he was Ric Flair. That was his downfall. Once he started thinking he was, when he started wanting to be Ric Flair, I'm sorry, I just never liked that he never liked Terry Taylor as that gimmick. I thought it just wasn't good. Jack, any comments?
No, it's always a great episode when Terry Daniels gets beat, so I was happy about that. I was also happy to see Thor show all of his expertise in the ring by thoroughly getting beat up. So yeah, this was a fun episode for me.
Rodney, final comments?
I have the utmost respect for Bill Watts. And as I've said before, out of every organization I've ever been to, this is probably one of those well-ran organizations we've ever been to. But even Bill Watts, sometimes I'm thinking, what are we doing? I would like for him to explain that one day. If I could ask him that one question, why did you think it was important to talk about other people on your show when you're trying to promote your own show, your own stars? Why was it necessary to talk about others? I just cannot fathom that at all.
Yeah, that was always hard to figure out. He shouldn't have been talking about it, but it's like it was personal.
Yeah.
That all this was personal, and I don't know. It's not for us to know, just to review. All right, folks, if you enjoyed this video, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the page if you haven't already. 300 plus videos available for you to watch, and hit that notification bell. And that will tell you right there, every time we upload a video, you'll know it. You'll be notified. And go that one step further. Share the video. Let everybody know about Pro Wrestling Inside and Out right here on the YouTube channel. And I tell you what, while we're here, we also want to tell everyone, drop over to ProWrestlingTees.com and get you a Pro Wrestling Inside and Out t-shirt. Until the next video, this is Brent West on behalf of Jack Lord and Rodney West, and we'll see you on the next episode.